Thank you very much for having me and Unicef on the panel. Uh, just to say, in terms of the priorities for Unicef, they resonate very much with everything that's gone before. Our priorities as well focus largely on a much more dedicated focus on learning outcomes, which has been absent in much of the research and evidence building we've been engaged on. Just to add, I think to make the point that the evidence building focus for UNICEF is very much linked to supporting decision making around plans, policies, and actions at country level. We do commission and engage in research at a global level. We do have an Office of Research based in Florence and a separate evaluation office in New York, which commissions research in education or evaluations in education, but across all 5 of our major sectors of work. In terms of education, we do have 3 global evaluations that are forecast for the next year. One that will look at a major education and peace building program that's being implemented in 14 countries, which will be conducted this year, and there will be a call for proposals on that. Second, we've had a 5-country program that includes Afghanistan, Nepal, and Bangladesh, focused on learning. Let us learn. That's also on the cards. And then we've had support for implementing early learning development standards in about 50 countries over the last 5 to 7 years, and that will also be evaluated. In addition to these sort of formal evaluations that are conducted at global level, we are implementing education in about 155 countries, and I think almost all of them engage in some form of evaluation work, research, and evidence building. And in terms of those, the funding that is dedicated amounts to almost between 5 to 10% of global funding for education, which is about 700 million. So in real terms, up to about 30 million is spent on some form of evaluation, research, and evidence building at country level, in addition to the global initiatives. I just want to mention 3 other global initiatives that relate to evidence building. One is work we're doing with the World Bank on looking at interventions and their impact, their cost benefit. We have developed jointly a simulation model called Simulation for Equity in Education. And this is also an opportunity to assess and make projections on the impact of a variety of interventions. And as Harry mentioned, it complements the work around the database of evaluations that they have. The second is we've had an out-of-school initiative together with the UNESCO Institute of Statistics, and already 26 studies, and the World Bank is also involved in the out-of-school work. 26 studies have already been conducted over the last 2 years, and that initiative will continue with additional studies in a number of other countries. As I mentioned already, there's a global evaluation of the peace building program. The peace building and education program is being implemented in 14 countries. In addition to the evaluation, one of the outcomes of the peace building program is to generate new knowledge around the links between education and peace building in crisis and post-crisis context. And it has a significant evidence building component apart from the other direct policy and service delivery outcomes, with a fairly substantial amount of funding dedicated to research. And again, there have been a number of proposals already put out and a few more that will go out during the course of this year. And just to add one last point, in addition to the focus on learning, one of the key themes, both in the strategy over the past few years, but building into our new 2014-2017 strategy cross-sectorally in the agency, is the continued focus on equity. So there's a real focus on additional evidence building on what works in terms of closing the inequalities.